Welcome to Recovery Fitness. I'm Coach Larry. We're going to start out with a little freestyling. Ready? Here we go. I used to be a white-faced bum, sipping on rum, living lavish like a billboard. What the blessed feel for? A ship, a harbor, a safe, but that ain't what it's built for. Do all I can to help you get more. This night is confusion. I constantly fight with illusion. Day in and day out, do not disturb time. So I stay out. I see spirits manifesting black and blessing. What would you do if you had more? Would you want to? Now the wood is dry and the fire's on you. Here we go. All right, welcome to Recovery Fitness. Today, we're going to talk about becoming a client of Recovery Fitness, and we'll do a mock intake and what that entails, and we'll talk a little bit about nutrition too. And if you're new to Recovery Fitness, I'm a recovery coach. I help people overcome addictions. I'm also a personal trainer, help people get in shape. Okay, that's the long and short of what Recovery Fitness is. And I've been training for an all-natural bodybuilding competition that I'm planning to do in January of 2026 when I hit the big 5-0. So follow me as we journey throughout this year. I was about 265 at the beginning of January. Right now I'm rocking out about 250, kind of lean bulking. And I'll go over what I'm doing for nutrition towards the end of our episode today. So what it takes to become a client of Recovery Fitness is what we call an intake process. And anyway, so I'm writing a book. The book's almost done. We're looking to launch probably this summer, and I'll keep you posted on that. All right. But basically, as the book launches and people become clients of Recovery Fitness, they would have to kind of fill out like a waiver release form when they start working with me. So the waiver and release form, we'll just go over that now. I'll just read it here. So because physical exercise can be strenuous and subject to risk of serious injury, we urge you to obtain a physical examination from a doctor before using any exercise equipment or participating in any exercise activity. Make sense? You agree that by participating in physical exercise or training activities, you do so entirely at your own risk, right? Any recommendation for changes in diet, including the use of food supplements, weight reduction, and/or bodybuilding products are entirely your responsibility, and you should consult a physician prior to undergoing any dietary or food supplement changes. All right. You agree that you are voluntarily participating in these activities and use this book and being a client and assume all risks of injury, illness, and or death. You acknowledge that you fully have read this and waiver and release and fully understand that it is a release of liability. You expressly agree to release and discharge the trainer or instructor from any and all claims of causes of action, and you agree to voluntarily give up or waive any right that you may otherwise have to bring a legal action against the trainer or instructor for personal injury. Okay? So with Recovery Fitness, it's all like kind of basic information, right? But what's the good thing about it is me as your coach, right? So as a coach, I'm there to keep you accountable, help you reach your goals, and a waiver and release form is just to kind of do all that legal mumbo jumbo to just kind of make sure we're all safe and then things like that. So, all right. So the next up is what we call a physical activity readiness questionnaire. All right. So with this, any gym that you join or working with a trainer, they should go over this. It's important to go over this, all right? And again, I'm just going to read it out here. So the PAR-Q, the Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire, all right? Being physically active is very safe for most people. Some people, however, should check with their doctors before they increase their current level of activity. The PAR-Q has been designed to identify the small number of adults for whom physical activity may be inappropriate or those who should have medical advice concerning the type of activity most suitable for them. So you want to answer yes or no to these following questions. 1. Has your doctor ever said that you have a heart condition or that you should only do physical activity recommended by a doctor? Okay. 2. Do you feel pain in your chest when you do physical activity? 3. In the past month, have you had any chest pain when you were not doing physical activity? All right. 4. Do you lose your balance because of dizziness or do you ever lose consciousness? 5. Do you have a bone or joint problem that could be made worse by a change in your physical activity? 6. Is your doctor currently prescribing drugs, for example, water pills for your blood pressure or heart condition? 7. Do you know of any other reason why you should not do physical activity? Okay? So, if you have answered yes to one or more questions, are older than the age 40 and have been inactive or concerned about your health, you need to consult a physician before taking a fitness test or substantially increasing your physical activity. You should ask for a medical clearance along with information about specific exercise limitations you may have. In most cases, you will still be able to do any type of activity as long as you want to adhere to some of the guidelines. If you answered no to all the PAR-Q questions, you can be reasonably sure that you can exercise safely and have a low risk of having any medical complications from exercise. It is still important to start slowing and increase gradually. It may be also helpful to have a fitness assessment with a personal trainer or coach in order to determine where to begin. All right. When to delay the start of an exercise program? If you're not feeling well because of a temporary illness, such as a cold or fever, wait until you feel better to begin exercising. If you're pregnant, talk with your doctor before you start becoming more active. You're encouraged to start slowly and build up gradually, 20 to 60 minutes of low to moderate intensity exercise, 3 to 5 days per week, including aerobic and muscle strengthening exercises. As you progress, you should aim to accumulate 150 minutes or more of moderate intensity physical activity per week. Okay? Right. So pretty common sense stuff. But as clients come on board with Recovery Fitness, we're going to do Zoom intakes and just email you the forms to fill out and sign off on. Okay? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what is a recovery coach and what is a personal trainer. All right. So what a recovery coach is someone who helps you overcome addictions. In Recovery Fitness, in the book that I've written, I've mapped out 7 steps to recovery fitness. You can read them in the book. But basically, being accountable to someone is super helpful, right? Having that emotional intelligence that we've talked about in different episodes, right? So being aware of our addictions, not denying them. Harm reduction is a big part of recovery fitness too, right? So sometimes it's difficult to just stop something and go cold turkey, right? So as a recovery coach, what I'm not, a recovery coach is not a therapist, not a doctor, not someone who's gonna fix you. You got to do the work. Your coach is there to help you stay accountable, to help you make progress on those addictions. Say you want to stop drinking or cut back on alcohol or moderate, or stop or moderate smoking weed, or stop or moderate binging on sugar. Maybe you like the 80-20 rule with food, where 80% of the time you eat really healthy, and then 20% of the time you abstain from sugar and white flour. Or you might go with a stricter food plan, which would be complete abstinence from white flour and sugar, processed foods, and eat really clean, right? So maybe you like that 7 days a week, 365 straight up, or maybe you want a cheat meal once a week, or some people do a cheat day, right? Okay. Other people like intermittent fasting, right? So intermittent fasting is kind of cool. I've done a little bit of that here and there. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll lean bulk throughout the week, and then when Sunday rolls around, I'll do intermittent fasting kind of the whole day, and then I'll have like a nice dinner at nighttime, right? But generally speaking, it depends what your goals are, right? So if your goal is to kind of lean bulk, like I've been trying to do, the philosophy is to eat every 3 to 4 hours, because that speeds up our metabolism, helps build lean muscle mass, improves concentration, and so forth. There is a lot of research out there about intermittent fasting where it can help you reach your goals in a different way, kind of like give your body a rest, so to speak, from all that eating. That's why I like mixing it up from time to time myself personally. So again, so a recovery coach is someone who helps you stay accountable and helps you make progress on overcoming those addictions. And to get back to that, alcohol, weed, screen time could be a problem for some people. Food, overeating, undereating, things like that. And then solvency around money is important too. And then there's the codependent side of things. So some people are addicted to a substance, and then some people are codependent and they're addicted to trying to, fix somebody else or taking on someone else's problems and not taking care of themselves, all right, so, that's kind of the recovery coaching side. And then the personal trainer fitness side, I've got stuff on YouTube there, different philosophies around straightening the body before you strengthen the body, right? So we go over a lot of meditative breathing and stretching to get you flexible, where you need to be, stretching out the hamstrings, which can alleviate low back pain, getting the spine in alignment with a Pilates routine, and I like 5-6 Pilates moves, in my book, they're called the Fabulous 5 Pilates moves, right? So it's roll up, the 100, roll over, scissors, and roll down, okay? So we got Fabulous 5 Pilates moves that get your spine in alignment, strengthens the hip flexors, gets them more mobile, and so forth. A little bit on the personal training side again too. We got meditative breathing and stretching. We got World's Greatest Stretch. We got Scorpion, stretching out those hip flexors. So a lot of people, when they sit down all day, your body adapts to that process, right? So if you're sitting down a lot, your shoulders kind of slunch over, your legs are up like this, so right there your hip flexors get really tight. That's why Scorpion is such a great stretch, where you're lying down on your stomach and you bring one foot up, that's the tail of Scorpion, to the other side of the hand, reciprocal inhibition, you squeeze your glutes, and then that gets the hip flexors where they need to be. And we've gone over that with meditative breathing and stretching, right? So again, recovery coaching and personal training, it's a great combination. Here to help out and help you reach your goals, all right? So let's continue with the intake process here, all right? So with the intake process, we go over some recovery questions, right? Number one, what are your major addictions? Okay, we've talked about that. How can you come out of denial? Basically, there's 5 stages of change when we're dealing with addictions. Pre-contemplation stage, where people are thinking about it. I don't know, maybe, well. Then there's contemplation, where they're thinking about it. And then there's action, maintenance, and sometimes even relapses on there after we've taken action on those, overcoming those addictions. The relapse part can be part of it. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? I've been mentoring and coaching people for a long time, and that is a part of it. Some people fall back into that primary addiction, and they get a taste for it, and they're like, wait a second, I prefer not to be addicted to this substance, right? So, and then the final stage of the 5 stages of change would be like maintenance, where you're maintaining a certain level, staying away from certain substances, right? Okay, so back to the intake process. What do you want to make progress on? And typically dealing with addictions, you want to kind of deal with the one that's the worst first. The one that'll kill you the quickest, you want to try to make progress on that. Make sense? All right. So then you got to ask yourself, do you want to moderate? Maybe you're a social drinker, or maybe you're on the other spectrum, like a hardcore alcoholic, So is it better to eventually get to complete abstinence, or is it better to moderate? So that's what we're here to help you kind of figure out. And then a really important thing in the intake process is, are you willing to expand your network, right? So what that means, are you willing to reach out for more help? Because if it's just you, sometimes that works. That is a mode, solo recovery, we call it. Sometimes that works. Some people can do it. It happens from time to time. Somebody like, well, I'm done smoking cigarettes and I'm done drinking, or I have a drink with Christmas and Easter or whatever, and I'm good to go. Other people, that 1 or 2 drinks during Christmas and Easter could set you off on a bender. All right, so everybody's different, right? But it's important to expand your network, right? Reaching out for help. Maybe it's a 12-step group, maybe it's a church group, maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's all of them. Maybe you need a team of people to help you overcome. All right. So I've been dealing with addictions for a long time, and I think the most difficult one to master, it's a toss-up. Some people say cigarettes are the toughest one to kick, which I've kicked and completely given up cigarettes. Other people think it's food, I don't know. It's a tough one to kind of figure out which is the most difficult addiction to get a hold of. But we're going to go over some questions dealing with addictions, and we go over this in the intake process, right? So question number 1, to see if you are a food addict. Have you ever wanted to stop eating and found you just couldn't? Like, binging or eating junk food and stuff like that. All right. Do you constantly think about food or your weight? Do you find yourself attempting one diet or food plan after another with no lasting success? Do you binge and then get rid of the binge through vomiting, exercise, laxatives, or other forms of purging? Okay. Do you eat differently in private than you do in front of other people? Okay. Has a doctor or a family member ever approached you with a concern about your eating habits or weight? Do you eat large quantities of food one at a time, like binging? Is your weight problem due to your nibbling all day long? Do you eat to escape from your feelings? Okay. Do you eat when you're not hungry? Have you ever discarded food only to retrieve it and eat it later? All right. These are good questions. Do you eat in secret? Do you fast or severely restrict your food intake? Have you ever stolen other people's food? Have you ever hidden food to make sure you will have enough for later? Do you feel driven to exercise excessively to control your weight? Do you obsessively calculate your calories you've burned against the calories you've eaten? Okay. Do you frequently feel guilty or ashamed about what you've eaten? Are you waiting for your life to begin when you lose the weight? Do you feel hopeless about your relationship with food? All right, so here we go. If you have answered yes to any of these questions, you may be a food addict. You are not alone. Recovery Fitness is here to help. Come out of denial and get the help you need. All right. So, coming out of denial is a big thing in Recovery Fitness here, and we're here to support you, right? All right. And then as the book launches and Recovery Fitness grows and I get clients, things like that, in the intake process, we go over a questionnaire. And in the questionnaire, we ask questions like, what is your current diet like? Give me a rough idea. What's your current goal? Do you want to lose weight, put on muscle, get stronger? Are you a lifestyle person with fitness, or are you a competitor? Competitor meaning, do you want to do a show someday, like I'm looking to do, all right? And then how long you've been training for. What does your normal training split look like? So splits is like when you're new, typically you want to do like a full body workout, maybe 2-3 times a week. Do that 4 to 6 weeks. Then you can progress to upper body routine. So maybe 4 times a week. Upper one day, lower the other day. Upper one day, lower the other day, right? And then progressing from there, you might break it up into body groups like legs day 1, chest, shoulders, triceps day 2, back and biceps day 3, okay? That's more of like a bodybuilding kind of philosophy or power lifter philosophy. Athletes who train for performance, right? You want to train for your specific sport, so that's more of functional movement exercises. So it's not like legs day 1, chest, shoulders, triceps day 2, back, biceps day 3. It's much more of a philosophy of what is your sport, and then designing a program to get to where you need to be. So I'm looking to film kind of a 12-week program for athletes, okay? So that's one methodology. Do you want to train for performance, or do you want to train for your physique? Make sense? All right, so back to the intake and the questions. What is your current weight and height? You can add extra information in the intake process. More information, the better. And then the check-in process, all right? I like people to check in with me, sometimes every day, you know what I mean? I have people do like an email or photos to see the progress once a week, okay? With your weight once a week, all right? Typically I'm good about response times, which is good. And then you want to include how many weeks out you are from the contest that you're doing. So for me, let's see, it's March, so I got about 9 months to go before my competition, all right? And then you want to let me know your compliance to your food plan, compliance to your workout plan, how well you're doing with that, and then include the cardio that you're doing. And then just a word about supplements. There's a vast array of supplements out there. The only 2 I'd advocate for, or maybe 3, and again, this is like pretty basic, would be a little bit of caffeine if you need a boost before a workout. Glucosamine chondroitin, which is great for joints as you lift heavier weights. And then I'm an advocate of creatine and whey protein. That's pretty basic, right? So all have been researched, are safe, effective supplements. Beyond that, you're getting into some wacky stuff where you don't know what you're buying. It's not really regulated. So you might think about being very careful about what supplements you take, right? Those 4, let's say 4, caffeine, glucosamine, chondroitin. You could throw turmeric in there. Well, turmeric's pretty basic. Creatine, those are pretty basic standard supplements that are pretty good, I think, all right? So yeah, I have clients, weigh yourself at the same time each day, using the same scale. Typically first thing in the morning, use the bathroom, weigh yourself, and go from there. Some people like to weigh themselves once a month and let the pictures kind of do the talking, right? Taking pictures of yourself, charting the progress, and maybe weigh yourself once a month. We work that out in the intake process. So All right, so that was, a little bit about a recovery coach, a little bit about personal training, and then, the intake process, the Part Q, and a basic waiver, all right? So I'll give you my current food plan here, what we're going for, and what I'm doing, meal 1, 3 eggs, 5 ounces of spinach, half cup oats, 16 grams peanut butter. Meal 2, 5 ounces of turkey, 1 cup broccoli, 150 grams rice. Meal 3, 6 ounces of tofu, 5 ounces of green beans, 150 grams of rice. Meal 4, 1 banana, 2 scoops whey protein, 23 almonds. Meal 5, 5 ounces of turkey, 1 cup peppers, onions, mushrooms, half cup oats. And meal 6, 6 ounces of chicken breast, 150 grams sweet potato, 5 ounces of spinach, okay? So it's interesting, you might be thinking, well, geez, that's a lot of food, but when you're burning a lot of calories and exercising on a regular basis, what that type of food plan is what we call lean bulking, right? So leaning out and bulking, I have lost about 15 pounds since January, so I'm on a good trajectory, right? I'm on a good trajectory. Other than that, we're doing pretty good here with Recovery Fitness. Should be back next week, and I think next week we'll do episode 4 for meditative breathing and stretching. Just encouraging you to not give up, and there's a phone number, 988, okay? 988. If you ever feel suicidal, don't give up. Call 988 and get some help for yourself, all right? Dealing with addictions is tricky. Sometimes people battle with suicidal ideation, and 988 is a great number to get some help for yourself. All right? It's Coach Larry signing off. Everybody take it easy and have a great week. Peace.